Tomorrow's severe weather outlook has been upgraded to a level 4 out of 5 risk from NOAA's Storm Prediction Center. So let's bring in the Associate Professor of Atmospheric Sciences at The Ohio State University, Dr. Jana Houser, to discuss this season more. Dr. Houser, great to have you back with us here on Fox Weather. I wish we were talking about some different numbers, though. This has been a rough start to the season. Have you been tracking any specific things, factors, patterns that seem to be driving all this activity?
Yeah, so I mean, I think it's worthwhile to note that up until the mid-March timeframe, we were actually well below average on tornado counts for this year. And that was really primarily driven by the fact that we had a pretty cold January, and that kind of lingered on a little bit into February. And so, the atmospheric conditions that we needed for the volatile thunderstorms that generate tornadoes just weren't present. But then spring forward, coming into the March timeframe, things start warming up, and then all of a sudden, blam, we're just faced with an explosion of severe weather starting in mid-March. And one of the things that I've noticed that has happened over the last 2 weeks is this transition into a very wavy jet stream pattern aloft. That typically is associated with very strong winds and cold air above, warm air at the surface. And that is going to marry together to create instability and the vertical wind shear that we need together to create the rotating storms that typically spawn tornadoes.
Yeah, so even with a slow start to the year, once those ingredients come together, you get some of these blockbuster events and those numbers shoot up. But this is something that we talk about a lot during the hurricane season, that the early part of the season doesn't necessarily have any correlation to what to expect during the peak of it. Is that true for severe weather too? Does the active month of March tell us anything at all about what we can expect in April and May?
Yeah, that's very true. It's very applicable to severe weather as well as to tropical weather too. What we see in one month over another month is very prone to change. So even though we're seeing this very active, volatile March into early April, it's really unclear how that is going to transition once we move into the middle to later parts of spring. May is the climatological maximum for tornadoes, but we really can't talk a whole lot about what we would expect to happen with the overall trends in May. Right now, we're ranked number 5 out of the last 15 years in terms of tornadoes for this point in time. But the most active year, which was actually 2011, was really kind of not even on the books yet. And 2024, which was also the second active year, was kind of not on the books in March either. So, kind of have to take things with a grain of salt with these early season outbreaks.
Interesting. We know what the first week of this new month is going to look like, though. Another big event getting started. This one looks especially dangerous with the long duration flood threat. I wanted to get your thoughts on this because what we've seen so far, at least with these storms in March, they were all in and out at least. That was the only good thing that we had with them. This one gets hung up, and we're talking about these huge rain amounts.
Yeah, so this pattern is being driven by a combination of factors here. Right now, aloft above the ground, we have a pattern that's going to sort of close off like you're indicating, and it kind of becomes stagnant. So we just keep the same pattern over and over. And then at the surface, that surface low that's driving the convective event today and into tomorrow, that moves off to Canada, and it actually becomes disassociated with the surface cold front. And that cold front basically just stalls. And as it does so, it creates an area where we can have winds blowing together that promotes a lot of upward motion. There's a lot of moisture in the atmosphere. So these things together are going to all combine to create a consistent severe threat over the next several days. And with that severe threat, you have the risk for really, really heavy rains over the same areas over and over and over for 3 to 4 days even, which is going to have potentially serious impacts in terms of flooding.
Yeah, I mean, the verbiage from the Weather Prediction Center talking about 10 to 15 inches of rain. Wondering what that would do as we move forward through, as we talked about. This is just the very beginning of the springtime severe weather season. Some of these spots are well above average for rain. You'd have to think that with further events, these spots would be even more vulnerable to flooding. Of course, we're going to get through the next several days first.
Yeah, absolutely. When you already have saturated soils, any additional rain and moisture that you have is going to just contribute. And it's oftentimes a positive feedback. So when you have that moisture present, you're actually evaporating more moisture into the atmosphere, which provides additional moisture source for clouds and precipitation to form. So when you get into this pattern, you oftentimes just create sort of a self-fulfilling prophecy where the areas that had previously gotten heavy rain continue to get heavy rain moving into the future as a legacy of the conditions that were introduced introduced, several weeks earlier.
Yeah, we don't know when it's all said and done what we'll look back on this severe weather season, where it'll stack up with some of the others, but we know it's been a fast start, and hopefully we can pump the brakes a little bit after we get through this next event. Great context there. That's Dr. Jana Houser with Ohio State. Thanks for being here with us.
Thank you so much for having me.